नमस्ते गुरुजी। जय गुरुजी महाराज। जय गुरुजी सासंगत जी। On behalf of multilingual global Sevadar team with folded hands, we thank you, our Guruji Maharaj, for interesting and enabling us with the seva of organizing satsang sharing. Today we are fortunate to have dear Tanuj Kapoor ji with us. We request you to share your journey with Guruji Maharaj. As we all wish to deepen our connection with Guruji Maharaj, we look forward to having your experiences and blessings from Guruji Maharaj. Over to you, Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji Maharaj.
Jai Guruji
Anantam,
Tanuj Kapoor ji.
Anantam, Anantam Shukrana, Uncle Ji, for giving me this opportunity. Namaste, Guruji, and namaste to all the Sangat who are listening to us today. Maharaj, I bow down at your lotus feet with folded hands and thank you for your immense and endless blessings on my family and all your devotees whom we refer to as your Sangat. These days we see that there is so much unrest and suffering in the world all around us. But Guruji, with your protection, we feel calm and we feel peaceful. Such a big blessing this is, Guruji. And hence I pray to you that please always guide us to stay on the right path, on the righteous path, so that we can remain close to your heart. Dear Sangatji, today I will share, the initial part of my journey, how Guruji Maharaj connected to us, took us in his fold, and how this journey began in this lifetime. I will also share a few satsangs from the initial years. But before I start, Maharaj, once again, for giving me this opportunity to express my gratitude for all your blessings in this beautiful journey with you. So, dear devotees, dear Sangatji, it was 1989 and we lived in Gurdaspur, which is a small town in Punjab in India. My husband was serving in the Indian Army. Now, of course, it's been many years since he retired. In 1989, he was posted in Gurdaspur, and there we had no idea about Guruji. We had not heard about Guruji, and neither were we connected with any other kind of Guru. It was a big blessing of God, of Paramatma, that we were content with the beautiful life that God had blessed us with. And also from the kind of family that both of us come from. There was never any need to go to any guru, or rather the focus was not on external measures for God's grace. My family, I come from a family where there was complete devotion and love for Shivji Maharaj. And my husband comes from a Sikh family. In his family, of course, there is no rituals at all, but the focus is on hard work and doing good. On the other hand, my family, like I said, we love Shivji, but there were no rituals. My mother did the small rituals of her regular prayers to Shivji and, of course, pouring water over the Shivalinga. But apart from that, there were no rituals for the family members, especially the children. But their devotion and the mantra jap, the core mantra jap, the beach mantra of Shiva, which is Om Namah Shivaya, that used to be played in our home every day on cassettes. And Sangatji, without realizing that mantra of Shivji Maharaj and that complete, I would say, faith in Shivji Maharaj just happened without me making any effort. I would say this is a blessing from God because he became my go-to person. Apart from him being present with me, within me all the time, as a mantra, as Om Namah Shivaya. He was my go-to person, the closest person that I reached out to whenever I needed anything or I was upset about anything. So that is a little background about my the upbringing as well as my husband's. Now we come back to 1989 and we were living in Gurdaspur. This is about one Saturday in the office. One of the officers told my husband that tomorrow, commanders, Guruji is coming. That is my husband's boss, the commander there of that brigade. My husband was posted in a brigade. His rank was a major, and the short form was BM, which is the brigade major. So the deputy commander told my husband, tomorrow, Commander's Guruji is coming. So you should also come with your wife. That is the next day, which was going to be a Sunday. My husband very politely said, sir, with due respect and with due apologies, perhaps we will not come because we don't believe in any gurus and neither would we like to get connected to any guru. But the deputy commander said, don't be in such a hurry to take a decision. Go home, talk to your wife, maybe she's keen to come. So my husband just said, yes, sir. So he came home, we discussed, and we both felt the same, that we wouldn't like to, get involved in any guru group. So, but dear devotees, dear Sangatji, we all know that when Guru Maharaj calls us, when he wishes that we come to his darbar, then there is nothing that can stop us. So next morning, that is Sunday morning, there was a phone call on the landline phone, on the army phone, and I just heard my husband saying, yes, sir, because the voice on the other side had said, you haven't yet come. So he just said, yes, sir, put down the phone, and he told me, see, he's my boss, and I think we should be there. So there was no discussion further, no any other kind of thoughts. We just got dressed, and with a very joyful mood, we went to the commander's house. When we went to the commander's house, there were about 12, 13 people in the living room, which was fairly large for that crowd. Most of the people were sitting on the carpet, one or two were on sofas, and in the center of the room, towards one corner, there was a single sofa, and on that sofa, a young, handsome man was sitting, which we assumed was Guruji. He was wearing a very smart cream safari suit with cream patent leather shoes. I clearly, distinctly remember it. And he was sitting with one leg down and the other leg over the other leg. So, since we were already late, my husband just went to one side and he sat down. I was about to sit. I was sitting just across from Guruji, but at a little distance. I was about to sit down when Guruji made eye contact with me, and with the gesture of his fingers, he called me towards him. Just like that, he called me towards him. So I didn't get a chance to sit down. I just went to him, folded my hands, and said namaste, because that was what was the norm in my family. We greeted everybody with a namaste. I didn't know that one is to bow down at Guruji's feet. So I said namaste, and Guruji also folded his hands, gave us very sweet smile, and said namaste. Now, immediately he told the lady sitting to his right, he said, Auntie, take her to the other room. So that lady got up, Guruji also got up, and I was already, as I was standing, we all three went into the adjoining room. And as soon as we went into the room, Guruji told me, now you lie down on your stomach. Sangatji, you know that Guruji spoke mostly in Punjabi and fluent Punjabi. But today, for the sake of this satsang sharing being in English, I'm only going to tell you directly in English. I will not be translating because I will then not be able to share as much as I would like to. So Guruji said, asked me to lie down on my stomach, which I did. And to be very honest, there was no kind of doubt in my mind at all. Even when he asked me to go into the adjoining room, There was no question mark in my head. Moreover, the auntie, was going along with us. So in the room, I lay down on my stomach, and Guruji came and sat down next to me on his knees. I didn't know what was going to happen. I had never heard about Guruji or the way he blesses, anything at all. So I just turned my head to see what was going on. And I saw that Guruji was on his knees next to me. Then I see that in his hand he picked up a spoon. That spoon had a rather long handle, and he was examining my complete spine through the mouth of that spoon. From the bottom of the spine right up to the neck, he examined through the spoon, and then he said that this is completely out of alignment. I was surprised. And here, dear Sangatji, I would like to share with you, or rather reinforce the fact that our Guruji Maharaj knows everything. He has all the traits of the Almighty. He knew exactly what my problem was, whereas nobody else in the room except my husband knew. I used to have a lot of low back issues, very acute, painful days sometimes, but I was able to manage all my daily chores and my responsibilities. So nobody else knew, but he knew, and he had decided to take care of that. So very grateful I am. So, then Guruji just put down that spoon, and with his palm, applying gentle force on my spine, right from the bottom of the spine till the top, he took his hand, kept pressing my back with his hand, and then when it reached the top of my spine, he told me, "Okay, now you get up. Now stand up." So, dear Sangatji, I stood up, and to my pleasant surprise, I didn't experience any pain. Normally, if I gave pressure on any foot, there was excruciating pain. I did that to confirm, but the pain had vanished. I did that for the other leg too. There was no pain at all. Truly, I experienced a miracle today, which I call a blessing. And I was so joyful. I once again folded my hands and I said, "Thank you, Guruji." Guruji smiled back and he said, "Okay, come, now let's go back into the living room." So we did so. Guruji led us, and the auntie and I followed. So we went back into the room, and there again now I also sat down close to him with a different kind of feeling within me. There was a joy within me, a love for Guruji within me. I cannot really say, you know, whether I was thankful or what, but there was joy within me. And I was happy to be sitting close to him. In a little while, the hostess came and she said, "Guruji, lunch is served." Well, this was spoken in English. And even the conversations, the light-hearted conversations that were going on were in Hindi and in English. And if I remember, there were no shabads playing. It was just like some people sitting and collected together to take Guruji's blessings. But there were no sermons, there was no Shabad, just people sitting mostly in silence and a little bit of small talk that was going on. So when she said, "Lunch is served," Guruji got up and so did all of us. And we went into the dining room. There were two tables set. All of us were going to have sit down lunch. Yes, Sangaji, it was a sit down lunch. It wasn't called a langar. And Sangaji, some more blessings were in store for me. I wasn't aware of it. I was sitting at the same table as Guruji, in fact, just across from him at that table. When I look back, this was all Guruji's planning. Because that day, I think he had decided to bless me for I don't know how many things in the life ahead. And while we were eating, suddenly Guruji became silent, and I realized that his face had become red, and he was staring at me. I was a little uncomfortable that why is this man staring at me like that? But I mean, everything happened within minutes. So, like I said, his face was red and he was staring at me, and even around, the now total silence. Then Guruji just put his hand up in the air, closed his fist, and brought it down with a jerk. Then he put that hand, he extended his arm in front of me. He opened his hand, and there was some prasad in it. It was a very gooey, kindly wettish kind of a prasad, which he then transferred into my hand. I don't know how automatically my hand also came out and it opened. So Guruji transferred that prasad from his hand into my hand and asked me to eat it. I didn't doubt anything. I don't know why. Neither did I question. I just ate it. I had no idea about any prasad from satsang, Sachkhand, which is the heavenly abode of the Almighty. I had not heard about the divine prasad, but I had heard that there are some saints who are able to produce or manifest things from the air. And this was the thought that was going on in my mind when Guruji brought his hand down, and I said, the thought, I didn't say anything, the thought came that why is this man trying to show off? I think it came from a very innocent perspective. There was no doubt, there was no kind of mischievous thought in my mind at all. But now Guruji had transferred that prasad into my hand and I had eaten it. Soon after that, I noticed Guruji's, the redness on his face had reduced. He dusted his hands and then he got up. As soon as he got up, everybody else also got up. And then everybody started moving towards back to the living room. Some people came to me and said, "You are so lucky." I didn't realize the significance of that. But today I know what a beautiful blessing Maharaj gave me that day. I don't know the reason for it, but the very fact that he gave me and blessed me with his divine prasad, I'm most thankful and grateful to him. My husband also came to me and said, some people are saying that when Guruji produces divine prasad, you should share it with everybody. Why didn't you? I said, this is all new for us. I didn't know. He asked me to eat it, and I ate it. If probably, when I look back, if it was meant for others also, if it was meant to be shared, he would have said so. So, Sangatji, we went back into the living room, and now, again, the energy within me and around me was completely different. So we sat there for some more time. Then my husband looked at me and kind of indicating that it's been a long time. I think we should go home now because we didn't know whether we are supposed to leave first or Guruji will leave. So then both of us, we bowed down to Guruji and we said, "Guruji, we would like to leave now." So very sweetly he said, "Yes, you go. But why don't you come over to my place too sometimes?" Sangatji, in Hindi, in Punjabi rather, it sounded so sweet. And the beautiful smile on his face, the welcoming smile on his face, is something that I distinctly remember even today. So he said, he gave his house address in Jalandhar, 300 Defence Colony. And he said, "Why don't you come over to visit me sometime?" And we said, "We will surely come." Sangatji, that was the start of our journey with Guruji. This beautiful journey with Guruji. And let me also share a couple of blessings, like I said, from the initial years. So, like Guruji said, we went to Jalandhar once to meet him. We were driving down to Delhi. Our hometown is Delhi. And, Gurdaspur being not too far, it was about an 8-9 hour car drive. And we would normally drive home. But this time we decided to stop over at Jalandhar to meet Guruji. So the entire family, that is, by then I had 2 children, my husband, me, and we had a house help, a young girl. We all went to Guruji's Darbar, with Jalandhar Mandir. That time we used to call it Guruji's home. We went to meet Guruji. Guruji was very happy that we had come. In fact, he told a few people who were sitting around him, he said, "These people have come to meet me." You know, there was such a childlike smile on his face, the glow on his face. I mean, today when I think about it, the Lord of the universe, Guruji Maharaj, is telling the people that they have come to meet me. They have just come to look me up. And then we sat there for a while. And then after some time, we also wanted to meet a few friends in Jalandhar. So we said, Guruji, should we go now? He said no. In fact, he asked my husband, where are you going? And we told him that we have to meet a few friends. He said no. Major Saab, he addressed my husband. He said, Major Saab, you also come with me. And he was going somewhere, and without any further question or refusal, we just said, Ji Guruji. And when we came out, we saw that Guruji's car was ready to be take him wherever he had planned to go. So we waited that when Guruji drives off, then we will go in our car. But Guruji stood outside for a minute or so. He looked at his car, then he looked at our car, and then he told my husband, Major Saab, we will go in your car. And he started walking towards our car. Hurriedly, my husband went and, he opened the car. So Guruji and all of us, we went wherever Guruji was taking us. My Guruji just kept guiding my husband where to go, about the directions, and we just went. On the way, on the roadside, there was a cart, and there was a young boy who was selling fresh orange juice, fresh fruit orange juice. And Guruji just looked at us and he said, "Would you like to have juice?" Sangatji, once again, I'm reminded that Guruji spoke, all this conversation was happening in Punjabi. And I need to keep reminding myself that I have to stick to English language for today's sharing. So Guruji said, "Would you like to have juice?" And we thought that maybe Guruji wants to have juice. So we said, "Yes, of course." So my husband parked the car on the side of the road. He quickly got off and told the juice vendor about the number of glasses that we wished. So the juice was made, and then the juice was delivered to us in the car. And once we had had the juice, my husband thought, because Guruji asked us, maybe he would pay, and we wouldn't want that. So again, quickly my husband went to the juice vendor and he wanted to pay. But the juice guy, he just looked at Guruji. Guruji was sitting in the car with the rest of us. He looked at Guruji, he folded his hands, and Guruji just shook his head. So the vendor said that he's not going to take any money from us. My husband insisted, but he didn't take any money. So Sangatji, not only was this another grace from Guruji, but it is also such a sweet and wonderful memory to cherish. From there, we went to the house where Guruji had planned to go. We sat there for a while, and then after some time, we said, Guruji, now should we go? And then he said, yes, now you go. No, I think I am again mistaken here. So once again, when he asked, we asked him that should we go? We wanted to take leave. He asked my husband, where are you going now? And my husband said that, Guruji, we are going to a restaurant. There was a good restaurant there where the food was excellent. And we had planned to have a meal there. So he told him that, Guruji, we are planning to go to that restaurant. So Guruji said, I'll also come with you. Now we were a little taken aback, happy at the same time, but definitely taken aback by this response from Guruji. So Guruji once again came with us in our car and we went to that restaurant. We had lunch there, and then of course we dropped Guruji to his Jalandhar home, which we now call as Jalandhar Mandir. And then we went to meet our friends. Now, Sangatji, when I look back, For many years, I used to wonder why, Guruji spent so much time with us that day. And I had no answers because Guruji just does what he wishes to. When he wishes to bless somebody for any current situation or for the past or for things to come in the future, he will just bless us. And very often he wouldn't tell. So I used to wonder. But some years back, Guru Maharaj made me realize why he sat in our car. Dear Sangatji, this car was to have a very, very major near fatal accident. That's a long story why I say that, maybe on another day. Uh, it was destined. And why we know it was destined? Because it was written by Bhriguji Maharaj, and it was in the life history of my father-in-law. This car used to be with my father-in-law, and when he decided to buy a new one, we had bought this off him as second hand. Now this car was with us. So this car was destined to have a near fatal accident, and the names of the 4 people who were in it were also mentioned in that. Only the letters were mentioned. My husband's name was not there, but mine was. So Guruji made me realize just a few years ago, few years means only 3 or 4 years ago, that probably that was the reason he sat in our car. Because everything else that was written in that life story of my father-in-law came true, was true, not 100 but 200%. Except this. This didn't happen because this involved Guruji's Sangat, and Guruji will break all barriers, go out of his way to look after his Sangat, to bless them if he wishes to. So that was another beautiful, visit and blessing from Guruji in Jalandhar. I think I will share one more blessing also from Jalandhar. This time, I took my mother to meet Guruji Maharaj. My parents were in Delhi. And when I visited Delhi once, I found that my mother was not feeling very well. And the reason for it was some kind of discomfort and pain in the middle of her back. And I, with my experience, knew that my Guruji can put a rest to it. So I told my mother, you come with me to my Guruji in Jalandhar. She was quite amused. She smiled and she said, oh, my dear, so you have a Guru now. But there was no resistance. She agreed to come with me to Jalandhar. And this was so, I took my mother to meet Guruji, to take his blessings. And this time also, when we went to his darbar in Jalandhar, he again smiled and blushed. And he told the people who were sitting around him, they have come to meet me. They have come from Delhi to meet me. Sangatji, it was as if we had done him a favor. I just cannot, uh, you know, uh, kind of comprehend the kind of grace, the kind of humility he had. And he made us comfortable over there. We were sitting there the whole day. Then, in fact, I was sitting on the ground. Guruji was on his chair, and my mother was sitting on a low stool, which we refer to as a mura. So he asked my mother, Auntie, how can I help you? In fact, he said, what seva should I do for you? I am compelled to use this statement because the word seva uh, is, is so large that the word help falls short to describe it. And that's what Guruji told my mother. He said, what seva can I do for you? And we as human beings did not then realize the significance of his words. My mother just told Guruji her physical ailment. And Guruji said, no need to worry, auntie. I will put it right. So Guruji got up from his chair. Her came behind my mother where she was sitting. And again, once again with his hands, like this with his fist, he pressed her back and he said, don't worry, auntie, it's going to get all right. Then he came back and sat on his chair. So like I said, we sat there the whole day. And in the evening, uh, Sangatji, in Jalandhar, Guruji would not continue to sit on his chair or the asan all the time. He would walk around and just because that was his home. He, like any other normal person in their home would do. So that day I remember Guruji was wearing a long kurta and like a lungi. So I was sitting on the ground. He comes to me, he's standing in front of me, and he says, "Is everything all right?" I looked up at him and I said, "Yes, Guruji, everything is all right." Again, he asked, "Is everything all right?" And I said the same, "Yes, Guruji." Now, this time he made me remember that I was going through a lot of gynae issue, an acute problem with the menstrual cycle. But I was a bit shy to share that with Guruji. So he asked me the third time, "Is everything all right, no?" And I said, "Yes, Guruji." Sangatji, Guruji smiled and he went into the kitchen. When he came back, I saw in his hand he had some betel leaves. Here again, I had no idea about the significance of the betel leaves or the treatment that Guruji offered or gave his devotees with betel leaf. So he came, he had those leaves, some of them, I don't even know how many, in his hand. And he's standing in front of me and he says, he asked my name, my date of birth. Guruji knows everything. But over the years, I realized that every time he had to give a big blessing or a blessing through some material, then he did that. So he asked my name, my date of birth. Then he closed his eyes. He looked into those betel leaves. He probably said my name and date of birth again. And he was chanting a mantra which was more in his mouth. I could only hear a humming sound. So, with the betel leaves having been blessed by Guruji, he extended his hand towards me and he pointed to the lower portion of my stomach and he told me, "Keep them here and then throw them away later in the evening." So, Sangaji, I just did that. I went into the washroom and I kept those betel leaves. And later in the evening, when we went back from his darbar, I did as he had guided me. Sangaji, here again, I was going through a gynae issue. I didn't express to him, but he knew everything and he had decided to bless me. The same for the same problem. The problem continued for the next 10 years. But despite the problem, I was able to do everything, even play sports. But in 10 years later, in 1999, when we were living in Hyderabad, I had to undergo hysterectomy to rectify that problem. The problem had become quite acute, and after consulting the doctors, they had told me, "Ma'am, the cells are changing color. I don't think you should allow a diseased part of your body to remain inside. Your children are quite grown up and you can easily have it removed." So, Sangaji, the doctors performed the surgery in 1999, but my Guruji Maharaj had already done that in 1989, 10 years before this. So these are the ways, the undescribable ways that Guru Maharaj blesses his Sangat. And a little I'll add to this that we were in Hyderabad and we had decided to have the hysterectomy surgery done in Jalandhar because for the administrative purposes it would have been much easier for me. But Guruji had planned that my surgery will be done in Delhi in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, which we call as AIMS. And with no communication with me, on his own, he decided, he planned. And the circumstances were such that I came to Delhi for my surgery. After we had consulted the doctors, my husband was coming to Delhi on official work and by flight, And in the flight, the lady sitting next to him was the head of department gynecology, Ames Hospital, Delhi. So my husband shared my problem with her, and she said, now we have a new technology, a laser technology. So please ask your wife to come and see me. I will have a look, and then accordingly we will decide the treatment that we can give her. And that's exactly what happened. With no guidance from Guruji, no communication from Guruji, it just happened what he had planned. Because we needed time, I came to Delhi, and Delhi also being my hometown, I knew I could take the prescribed 2-month bed rest here. So the surgery was done in Ames. We had no contacts, absolutely none. The doctor just took me on priority. We also got a private room, and needless to say, the surgery was done perfectly. In fact, before we left the room, we got a bill, and there were charges for the food, the room, and the medicines that were given, but there were no charges for the surgery nor the doctor. We were surprised, and my husband asked the administration. They said, "Well, she has not taken any money." So my husband went to her and requested to pay. She just said, "It's all right. I don't know. Uh, we didn't know her from before. But at that time, I didn't take it as Guruji's grace. But today I do. That time I just thanked God and my Maharaj in my mind. So you see how Guruji, when he takes us in his fold, he not only monitors everything in our life, whether we are present in front of him or not, he is monitoring everything, and he will intervene as and when he feels like. However, he is blessing all the time. So Sangatji, these today I will share uh, my blessings only till here, because I would also like to use this time to share a few guidelines for the new Sangat, because today Guruji's Sangat is all over the world, and many of them are looking for answers. Many of them are looking towards the old Sangat. Why we said old Sangat and new Sangat? Because this was also uh, mentioned by Guruji. As we would go to his darbar and new people would come, he would say the old people should move back or move to the top floor. So that is how this word new Sangat and old Sangat has come. For how many years, how many lifetimes all of us have been connected to Guruji, none of us know. And I don't think that is important. What is important is the timing, Guruji's timing. He decides when he is going to physically meet his devotees. Which lifetime he is physically going to meet his devotees, only he decides. We can only be grateful for our good fortune that in this lifetime we got to meet Guruji Maharaj, the complete and Puran Guru, and take his blessings. So, like I said, the new Sangat are sometimes confused as to what is the right protocol to follow and what is the best way to connect to Guruji. So, I really I would like to say that I am not trying to preach. I'm not trying to, from any position of authority, but just as a dear fellow Sangat, I'm just going to share a few guidelines. And to the, the top of the list that comes to my mind, and why I have felt the need to do so, because when I attend satsangs nowadays, some places I find the right protocol is not being followed, and it is not their fault. Probably they have seen it being conducted that way somewhere else. So I am taking the liberty of sharing a few tips. One is that the satsangs have to be extremely simple. uh, and there is no numbers. You don't need to have a large number of people. Just you and your family sitting down in front of Guruji, and with a playlist of Shabad, and with tea and a couple of snacks, you can just have a satsang in your family, even without snacks, just tea. Because what is a satsang is mean that in the company of the the Guru, the Paramatma. That is what it is. So you can have as few as your own family members. You can have a few friends and family, 6, 7, 10, even a few more. The bigger the satsangs, it needs much more administration, and the focus shifts from devoting your mind and mindset to Guruji. It moves to all these arrangements, and very often I have seen very, very elaborate arrangements. So please, Sangatji, just keep it very simple. Whatever you keep, the langar prasad or chai prasad, you don't have to have a langar every time. In fact, recently I was with a few new devotees, and they wanted to keep a sangat. They were hesitant because, so I said, I will guide you, I will help you. And I said, we don't need many people. So they said, what about 7, 8? I said, that is just enough. And I also said, you just bring a few rose petals, which we will, offer to Guruji. And that is all. You don't need any other flower arrangements. And I also said that you can just do a simple chai prasad, that is tea, with 1 or 2 snacks. And one of the important things which we call is the kada prasad. That is the sweet meat which we make out of wheat flour. This prasad is a must in all gurdwaras. And since Guruji guided us and connected us to Shabad Gurbani, and we have always seen that in Guruji's Darbar, Kada Prasad was always there. So you can have one Kada Prasad, one savory snack and tea, and that is enough. She said, what about Langar Prasad? Aren't we supposed to give Langar Prasad? I said, no, not at all. It's not necessary. You can either do Langar or you can do a tea. So that is one. So please keep it very simple. The other thing is about the playlist. The playlist needs to be only Shabad Gurbani, because this is what we have seen in Guruji's Darbar when he was physically present there. Only Shabad Gurbani and the Shabads that used to play in his Darbar. There are many, and the YouTube will give you the names, and there are not just a handful. There are maybe between 50 and 100 Shabad that have been blessed by Guruji, and they would play in his Darbar. Very often I find some other bhajans playing, uh, and also sometimes film songs playing. By itself, those bhajans and film songs are beautiful, but they cannot be in Guruji's satsang, because Guruji's satsang means we follow the protocol given by Guruji. Also, when the focus is on Guruji, then we do not include other deities, or we do not have rituals that are going to be in honor of the other Hindu deities. Why I'm saying that is because I have seen in a satsang, it, Hanumanji's, uh, what can I call that? A prayer. A prayer. Hanumanji's prayer was also part of Guruji's satsang. After the Shabad Kirtan, the Hanuman Chalisa was played. So that is not to be followed. But I am not saying that you don't have faith or you do not uh, pray to Hanumanji. But this is not Hanumanji's satsang. This is Guruji's satsang. So in Guruji's satsang, we will only have Guruji's Shabad Bani, and we are going to keep our eyes closed and in silence meditate on those Shabads, because it is through those Shabads that Guruji gives his guidance. And all answers to our questions, all the help that we are seeking, that calms us through the Shabad Gurbani. So that is my request. And Guruji also said, I have not come here to change your religion. You can continue to believe in whoever you wish, but be good and do good. However, if you come to me, I would only like you to come to me. And by this, he is not minimizing the power of the other devotees and, other gods and goddesses. But there is a protocol. And in Guruji's satsang, this is what was done, and should be done that we only focus on Guruji and only Shabad Gurbani to be played. Uh, the next point is, yeah, I think the playlist, as mentioned by Guruji, could be 1 hour 15 minutes or 1 hour 30 minutes. And after the Shabad Kirtan is over, now the question of Aarti, you can have Guruji's Aarti either at the end of the Shabad Kirtan or before you start the Shabad Kirtan. The choice is yours. Some people feel that they wish to do the Aarti before they start the Shabad Kirtan to welcome Guruji. Fair enough. Whereas there are other Sangat who wish to end the Shabad Kirtan with Guruji's Aarti. And Guruji's Aarti is only one, which is Shivji ki Aarti. Jai Shiv Omkara. No other Aarti. So you can do the Aarti either before or after the Shabad Kirtan. Now, after, like I said, the Gurbani, I mean, the playlist for about an hour, 15 minutes or 1 hour, 30 minutes, you can devote the next 30 minutes to satsang sharing. You know, the blessings that the devotees have received. Now, this to, save time and to make it a little better organized, it would be nice if you could tell the Sangat who you wish that they should share their blessings. The Sangat who are present there, if in advance you can tell them that I would like you to share your blessings, Guruji's blessings on you and your family. So it will save time. And here depends, if there are 3 people who are going to share, you could keep it to 10 minutes each. If there are 2, you could keep it to 15 minutes each. But first, I think in your heart, you need to in your heart and also verbally, after the aarti is done, thank Guruji for coming to your satsang, for blessing everybody there, and in whichever way you wish to thank him, do that briefly. And then you, as you have decided that whoever are the devotees who are going to share their Guruji's blessings on them. During this time, no langar prasad should be served. If you wish to keep the Sangha sharing for 15 minutes, that is also your choice. But no langar nor the Kada Prasad should be served during the time when the satsang sharing is being done, because that is very, very important. And Guruji always wanted that the people sitting should listen to it intently. There were times I remember when some ladies in the corner were talking, and Guruji was very stern and asked them to leave the room and go out. Because it is through the satsang sharing that people get hope, people get answers to their problems, people get inspiration. They are motivated to stay calm and be positive and optimistic. So, satsang sharing is a very, very important aspect of Guruji's satsang. Right. So I think, yeah. And also, I think in the Aarti, sometimes I find that people are unsure whether they need to clap their hands and sing along when the Aarti is being played on the, on music recorder. Yes, Sangatji, this is Shivji's Aarti, Guruji's Aarti, and since our childhood, in all temples, we've seen that the Aarti is done with a lot of joy. So, yes, you will sing along. You can clap your hands, but we must remember not to make noise, because noise has no place in Guruji's darbar. So, yes, uh, enjoy the Aarti and sing along. There is no need to be quiet and not clap your hands, because I have heard, different people have their own experiences, and they then have their own do's and don'ts. But what I am saying is, for Sangat in general, and for all of us, we must treat it as an aarti like we have been doing in temples since our childhood. So I think today these are the things that came to my mind, and I thought I would share with all of you. So with this, I take leave from all of you, and I also once again, with folded hands and my head bowed down, Guruji, I thank you immensely for this opportunity to talk about your blessings. I took the liberty of guiding your new Sangat a bit during this satsang sharing. If I did make any mistakes, then please overlook them and forgive me for that. Jai Guruji Maharaj.
Dhan Dhan Guruji Maharaj. Very divine and blissful Sangat sharing by you, Tanuji. On behalf of all the Sangat listening, I wish to thank you for the valuable messages and experiences, your initial experiences you have shared. We are looking forward listening to more satsangs in the future sessions whenever Maharaj permits. We'll take Agya from Guruji Maharaj now. Jai
Jai
Guruji.
Guruji Maharaj. Agya do Guruji.
Jai
Thank
Guruji.
you, Maharaj.